Okay, so we're going to look at adding and subtracting fractions. And remember, we want to resist the temptation to just subtract or add the numerators to get 4 take 2 is 2 and 5 take 3 is 2. We want to resist that temptation. Because when we're adding and subtracting fractions, we want to make the denominators the same. We want to change the fractions to equivalent fractions where they share a denominator. And to do that, like we've done over here, we're going to find the multiples of our two denominators. So the multiples of 3 and the multiples of 5. So multiples of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and so on. Okay, keep going. And the multiples of 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. And again, we could keep going. And we're looking for numbers that appear on both lists. Shared multiples, common multiples of 3 and 5. And we can see 15 is a number that appears on both lists. 30 is a number that appears on both lists. And we could keep going up, and there would be more and more numbers that would appear on these lists. But we want to find the lowest common multiple. In this case, it's 15. I'll just make a check. Yep, 15 is the smallest number that appears on both lists. So I want to change both of my original fractions to have denominators of 15. So some number of 15ths take away some number of 15ths. And I'm asking the question, what have I done to my denominator 5 to turn it into 15? And that's times it by 3. 5 lots of 3 is 15. 5 times 3. And I want to do exactly the same thing to my numerator. So 4 times 3 is 12. So 4/5 is equivalent to 12/15. Now I want to look at 2/3 and change that into some number of 15ths. I see that 3 times 5 is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 times 5 is 15. So I times my denominator by 5. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing to my numerator. So 2 times by 5, that would be 10. So my calculation, 4/5 take away 2/3, is exactly the same. I'll write it down again so those arrows aren't in the way. Is exactly the same as 12/15 take away 10/15. And that equals, well, 12/15 take away 10/15. That's some number of 15ths. 12 take away 10 is 2/15. So when we're adding and subtracting with fractions, we want to make sure that the denominators are the same. We want to make sure that we don't just add and subtract the numerators and denominators as they stand.
Okay, Mary, so let's have a look at this one. So solve x plus 2x equals 12. So what do you think you do first?
Okay, well, I want x on its own, so I would put x equals 12 minus 2x.
Okay, so a lot of the time we want to get x by itself, but what we want to do first is get all of these x's together. So can you see anything we can do with this? Get all these together in one place.
Oh, okay, it's 3x, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
3x equals 12. Oh, and so x equals 4.
Brilliant, spot on, well done.